Oops. Hold on.
Technical difficulties. We need to want that cutscene.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to Winging It with Frank and Sammy. Frank, how has the first week of 2026 been going for you?
Not as many birds as I would like, and definitely more home struggles. So the rains we got did some damage here that I'm still cleaning up from, but I am hoping to get out and seeing some birds soon. That hepatic tanager is calling me. I can hear it from here.
Yes, yes. Yes, if you did not watch our sort of bonus episode on YouTube, you can check that out. Frank and I go look for some rare birds in Santa Barbara County. And if I have to say so myself, I think my car animation was pretty good. Maybe the best part of the video. But today we are talking about big years and what does that mean in terms of birding. Before we get to that, though, actually, Frank, I want to ask, what was your first bird of the year?
I think it was an American crow, actually. Pretty basic, pretty standard stuff. It was like a crow and a towhee at the same time. So that's about it. What about you?
Yeah, I think I had like lesser goldfinches and house finches at the feeders.
Yeah, there was one year I got my first year bird was a partially leucistic house sparrow, had like a white wing, and I was like, that is like the coolest first year bird. Since then, it's all just like, yeah, it was neat.
Yeah, and we have some friends right now who are in Antarctica, and their first year bird were kingwood penguins. So hard to
Right, yeah,
top
that's
that.
cheating, but okay, whatever. We were happy for you. Congratulations, you guys.
So the reason I bring that up and ask that is because it kind of fits into this idea of the big year, and that's what we're going to talk about today. If you've never heard of that, but essentially boil it down to a big year is when a birder decides they're going to try to see as many different bird species in a particular area as possible. That could be your state, it could be your county, could be some people do the lower 48, all of the United States, on and on. You could even do like a 5 mile radius from your house. So that's kind of what we're
Mhm.
talking about this year. I'm doing a big year right now for my county. Frank, have you ever done a big year of any sorts?
Kind of did like a medium year one year, but no, I've never done an official big year. Yeah. I've been tempted, but have not like taken that full step into committing to do a big year.
Yeah, it is kind of a commitment. So I'm doing one. I just moved up to Calaveras County, and Calaveras County in California is, in terms of bird species seen, is tied for dead last with Tuolumne County at 275 species. And so for me, the goal of this big year is to kind of, bring some representation to Calaveras County. So I have two goals. I have one rule, Frank, and two goals. Here is my
Okay.
rule. My rule is just to bird every day, right? And just submit a checklist every day that I'm in the county. That's something I can control, assuming I don't get deathly sick. And even then, I'll crawl out of bed and, listen for some birds. So that's my rule. And then my two goals are, first goal is to see 200 species in the county. Now in Ventura County, where you are and where I used to be, that's pretty easy. You could get 200 species by the end of the month. But here in
Yeah.
Calaveras, 200 is a bit more of a challenge. So that's goal number one. Goal number two is to find a new species that has never been seen in the county before. So that's my one rule and my two goals. And so far, I think I'm at 104 or 103 species, and we're only a week in. So it's going to slow down a lot more, obviously.
No, you should just keep this pace. Just blow it out of the water. I like the rule. I like the one checklist a day. I feel like that will enter you in a lot of eBird contests. We were just a couple hours late recording this because you had to go birding to get that owl. Was that your one checklist for today?
No, I think I have four checklists today.
Okay, so it wasn't even a necessary checklist.
Okay, no, it wasn't necessary. I'm leaving out of town tomorrow, and I wanted to get to 100 species
Yeah.
before I left.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually why I call it a medium year when I did it. I was not, I was into birding, but I wasn't like I am now. And I actually had to travel a lot for work back then. So I ended up spending like 3 or 4 months out of state. And it just kind of was like, of course, during fall and spring migration. So I was like, it's a medium year. We'll come back to that later. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, and kind of like you alluded to, there's different intensities you can go. So I'm just sticking to the county, which makes it a lot easier. The furthest I have to travel is maybe an hour up to the mountains. But some
Yeah.
people go really hard and, will bird the entire United States. So, and you can imagine that's a lot of
Yeah.
travel, airplane travel, a lot of last minute travel as well if a rare bird pops up in Florida and you live in California.
You do need a budget.
So that's a little more for, well, folks who are one, retired and also have a good amount of money in the bank.
Yeah. I like all of the different variations of big ears that have started to pop up over the years. Like there's one where it's like all green, so you don't drive anywhere. It's just anything you can walk or bike to. There was that
Mm.
guy who did the big ear by bike completely. I ran into him a couple of times at some of the migrant hotspots. And, it's just kind of neat that people are putting their own kind of creative twists on it rather than just like whoever has the most money wins is kind of sometimes how it ends up, but not always.
Like baseball, just buy the best team.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it comes down to. Like, it's going to cost me a couple $100 to get this bird, so I literally have to buy this bird by getting the plane tickets to go out there. Nah, not for me.
Yeah, that the guy who did the bike, he wrote a book about it, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's actually he's an Eagles fan too, so that's what we talked about. We didn't talk about birding. We talked about football, so it was nice.
Yes, and so for those who don't know, Frank is from New Jersey. So when he says Eagles fan, he's not referring to bald or golden eagles.
I'm a fan of them as well.
Yes, yes,
It's
but
kind of funny. I mean, the thing that people who are Eagles fans in that area say, and well, anywhere, but mostly in that area in South Jersey and Pennsylvania, is "Go Birds." You say "Go Birds" all the
mm-hmm.
time. It's like
Yeah.
see a friend, go Birds, right? And so it's no surprise at all that I like took this path, and all of a sudden I'm like into birds, and like I kind of took it and went a little farther with it than most people do. So I think I was brainwashed as a child, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. It's gotten you to where you need to be, Frank.
That's it.
Okay, and I looked up the book title. It's Birding Under the Influence, Cycling Across America in Search of Birds and Recovery by Dorian Anderson.
Yeah, it's a nice guy.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it'll be, maybe I'll have a book out here about my Calaveras big year.
There you go. It's dragging Calaveras County up the county rankings by Sammy. I like it. Title needs work.
Yeah, yeah, we'll workshop that. I am trying to raise money for a local association called the Calaveras Big Trees Association. It's an educational nonprofit that puts on educational nature programs over at our state park, Calaveras Big Trees, which is a giant sequoia grove. So anyway, I will leave a link in the description if anyone is interested in donating to that. Usually you can do like maybe I'm guessing I'll see maybe around, I think I'll see like 215 species, maybe 230. So you want to do like a couple, 25 cents per species.
It's cool.
We're talking about big ears and what they are. And we're going to talk about a couple of movies. Before we get to that, though, I do need to ask you for some help.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh, no, 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 no. And whenever you're doing a big year, at least okay, I'll say this for me, but I think this applies to lots of people. There can be a sort of weird anxiety or stress that happens
Uh-huh.
because you're trying to see as many bird species as possible, and so then you're like, I have to see this bird. What if I don't see this bird? And
Mhm.
so Frank, I
Yep.
am asking you, I am confessing to you that I need help. I
Uh-huh.
do not want to be anxious about my big year because it's for fun and to bring awareness of Calaveras County and all those
Yep.
things. But it's I was looking for the burrowing owls today and I was checking every single flippin' like rock in the pastures and I was like, oh my gosh, I know there's burrowing owls out here. Why can't I find one? And then you're starting to get like, what if I never find a burrowing owl?
Yeah, there is a psychological aspect to doing a big year. And I've known a lot of people, I've run into a lot of people who do them, and I've heard, secondhand accounts. It can become a very stressful thing where every day it's a fear of missing out, right? You get the FOMO of, I didn't go check that hotspot today. I didn't go check the migrant trap. There could be something better there today. And you can burn yourself out on that. Like I did it. I do it every fall. I'm like, I go out the first week, first 2 weeks, and then I'm just like, I need a break. I just too much. I need a break. But you get people who get so hell bent on finding these birds that they kind of become unpleasant to be around. Like they will become the problem people on the pelagic trips, or they'll come out and spend all day at the hotspot and not see the bird and just like kind of ruin everybody's day by just being that kind of negative energy, we'll say politely. So there is a trap there. There is a risk that you kind of become so crazy with it. And if you're competing, especially against like the top people for the big years, that's dangerous. But I think you'll be all right. I think you don't seem to have that kind of like, I don't want to say obsessive, because you can obsess over finding birds and you'll be fine. But you're not competing against anybody, and the burrowing owls will be there the next day if you don't see them. So I think you'll be okay.
Yes, well, I think part of that is because I did win a big year back in Ventura a couple years ago, and I feel like then I was a little more obsessive. I think I have mostly just matured, and also like it's if you don't find a
Yeah,
bird, oh
whatever,
well.
right? It because it's a year. It's a full calendar year that you're doing this, whether you
Hmm.
start the January 1st or not. And you basically, to do it the way that some people do it, have to be able to chase every rare bird that comes up immediately, right? So it's hard
Yeah.
to do if you have a job or relationships or friends or commitments. And some people prioritize the birds more than all those things. That kind of gets them into trouble. So, you know, just warn your friends and family that you may have to suddenly drop everything and run out the door. They'll understand, but, we'll see if it impacts the recording schedule here. Be curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't record right now. I'm going to chase a rare bird.
Frank, I need you to hold me accountable, and listeners, I need you to hold me accountable that this does not interfere with a healthy, productive life.
There you go. You'll be all right. Well, what's the birding situation like in Calaveras? Is there a community there? Is there an Audubon, a good number of people that go out? Or are you going to be finding all of these
Um,
birds yourself?
we have we're kind of like in between two different chapters. We have San Joaquin Audubon to the west, and that's more in the Central Valley. And then we have the Central Sierra Audubon, which is kind of Tuolumne County, that's where they're based out of. But they do field trips into Calaveras, so they kind of cover both counties. But they're both like headquartered like an hour away in opposite directions. Last weekend for my fifth bird count, I did the bird count basically here in my hometown essentially, and that was run by San Joaquin Audubon. Like the eastern edge of the circle was like creeping into Calaveras County.
Okay.
So, and then when I got the car, well, actually, I didn't get the car stuck. When my friend got his own car stuck in the mud, that was the Angels Camp bird count. And that was organized by Central Sierra. So there's like there's like a little overlap, but also we just don't have a lot of people here in the county. I think we have like
Okay.
45,000 people.
Yeah, that's like half of Ventura, the city.
Yeah, so that's another thing too, like in Ventura or other places, you have a lot of other people finding the birds, which is really helpful because I
Yeah,
think at a certain point, as you mature in your birding, you just have to accept I can't see every bird. It's just not possible. For me out here, if I didn't submit a checklist every day, I would say on average, we would have maybe one or two checklists submitted a day by people.
wow. Okay. So you will be finding most of these birds yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and I know the spots to go look at. I'm new here, but in the county, so I'm still learning. But like eBird's great for that. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to do. I was like, I bet there's more birds here. There's just not a lot of people
there's got to
in
be.
terms of
Yeah.
in terms of like birds, right? We're dead last. In terms of checklists submitted, I think we're like 53 out of 58. So, you know, there's also just not a lot of effort.
Yeah. You're gonna fix all that.
It's all on my shoulders.
I mean, your lists and birds alone would probably crank it up a couple in the ranking. Like, how good would that feel to be like, I am carrying this county's birding community?
I put you on my back. So, well, I wanted to transition kind of when we talk about, the obsessive component. This is actually a good transition to one of the surprise hits of 2025, I would say, the Listers documentary on YouTube by the Risen brothers. Did you watch this, right?
I've seen about three-fourths of it. I haven't seen the end. Don't no spoilers, I guess, but I have seen. I know what it's about. It's pretty brilliant. I liked it. Just I wish I thought of it.
Yeah. So essentially, what this is on YouTube. I looked yesterday. It has like over 2.5 million views. So really impressed by that. But it's basically these two brothers. They kind of seem like they just sort of stumble into their parents' bird books or something and be like, "That'd be cool to like learn all these birds and like know all these birds." And they're like, "Let's do it." And they're not, some people are like, "Okay, let me, join an Audubon or whatever." Like they just dive in full on head first. So total novice, right? And they're like, "We're just going to do a big year in the lower 48 and see how many birds we can see." And hilarity ensues essentially.
There's a lot of hilarity. Yes, I yeah, it's very relatable, right? As a birder, it's just like, okay, this I remember this. This is good. It's very funny. Would recommend.
Yeah, it is very profane. So if that is something that you are sensitive to, just be aware of that. But I think it does a really good job of showing, yeah, just kind of this sped up version of, I would say, most birders kind of process of like, you're so excited you saw your first great-tailed grackle, and then you realize they're in
Hmm.
parking lots all across the place.
Yeah, it's a little humbling, but yes,
And then you document, you see a rare bird, and you send a picture, and then the eBird reviewer comes to you and says, "That's not that bird," and you're all
yeah,
mad.
yeah. I've got five of these rare birds, and it's like, no, you don't. Oh, oh, okay. Yeah, I've done that. I 100% have done that. It actually
Every
kept me
birder
from
has.
submitting eBird checklists for a while. I'm like, you know what? Forget these guys. I'm not gonna do it. I'm
Really? Oh
okay
my
now.
gosh. That's everyone's gonna be wrong.
Yeah,
I've heard that the difference between an experienced birder and a novice birder is just how many birds they've misidentified.
it's very zen. I like it.
So, but yeah, it's worth a watch. These two brothers, I mean, they just live in like a Kia, some sort of minivan, and it breaks down all the time. And so they're driving all around. I think there's one scene where they're somewhere in the south, and they got mosquitoes coming like in through the
Oh,
somehow
yeah.
the
That I started getting itchy at that. I was just, ugh, nope. And they're like taping up the windows and stuff. Yeah, no.
yeah. So somehow the mosquitoes are getting through the closed doors or like the cracks between the doors, and so they have to
Yeah,
tape up the window, like the seal. They have to seal themselves shut.
yeah. It's horrifying. Some mosquitoes. God.
So again, if you have no idea what a big ear is or birding kind of that intensity is, definitely check that out. I think it gives you a really good crash course into the kind of lengths that some people will go to try to find the birds. Because towards the end, they do get burned out, and you can kind of tell. I mean, they're driving all
Yeah.
over the place. They have to, cattle tyrant just showed up in Texas. Got to go there, I guess.
It's an endurance test. It's tough.
Indeed. Hi everyone, Sammy coming to you on the road. We had some recording mishaps, and Frank's audio didn't record for the last couple of minutes of the podcast where we go into a review of the movie The Big Year with Steve Martin, Jack Black, and Owen Wilson. So we're probably going to re-record that later. Apologize for the awkward ending, but that's the end of the episode now. You can support us again on our Patreon pages for Frank. That's Frank the Bird Guy. You can go to my website, birdingwithsammy.com. You can also come to our Facebook page, Winging It with Frank and Sammy. So hope to see you there. Sorry about the technical snafus, but we'll re-record that later and then get you a bonus episode out of it. So, anyways, hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll see you next time.